everyone. My name is Shraddhan Siraj and I'm currently doing internship under Lexis and Company. So today we are going to discuss about the stages of a crime. Now, what are the elements of a crime? Every country usually has its own set of codified laws describing various crimes and punishments. In India, this can be either the Indian Penal Code or any other specific criminal law. Regardless of which laws we refer to, there are always some elements of crime common to all of them. These elements generally constitute all the backbone of every criminal case. Now, the most important thing in all these laws is that they contain certain basic elements. The following are four basic elements of a crime. Number one is the accused person. No crime can ever occur out of thin air because that would simply be an accident. In order to constitute a crime, it is important for somebody to commit it. The term accused person does not suggest that only a human being can commit offenses. According to section 11 of the IPC, the term person also includes a company and an association or body of persons. Therefore, even a trust, an NGO, and a public company can commit offenses. Furthermore, certain offenses can implicate more than one person for the same crime. In such cases, all persons will face trial and may have to face punishment together. Mens rea. A mere person will never commit a crime unless he possesses some intention to commit it. The law generally refers to this intention as mens rea, which means guilty mind. In Latin, the term mens rea has been derived from a famous Latin maxim, actus non fecit reum nisi mens sit rea. This basically means that an act cannot be guilty if it does not accompany a guilty mind. The element of mens rea itself comprises certain inherent elements. These includes intention, motive, or knowledge. Which of these elements must exist in order to constitute an offense generally depends on the relevant provision. For example, section 300 of IPC contains various kinds of acts which amounts to the offense of murder. These acts may include an act done with the intention of causing bodily injury sufficient to cause death. Furthermore, it also includes an act of which the offender has knowledge of it being imminently dangerous. Therefore, we need not to look at the relevant provisions to understand what kind of intention is necessary. Actus reus. Merely possessing a guilty mind and thinking of committing a crime is not enough. The accused person must also act on the intention and doing something in its furtherance. Actus reus basically refers to an act or omission which leads to the completion of an offense. Both mens rea as well as actus reus together are important to create an offense. Actus reus can be a positive act such as stabbing a person to cause his death. It can also be an omission to perform an action. For example, driving a vehicle without a driving license is an omission. Injury. The last of the basic elements of a crime is an injury. There can be no crime if no person faces some kind of an injury. According to section 44 of IPC, injury means any harm caused to a person illegally either in mind, body, reputation or property. However, there can be some crimes which might not require injuries to anybody. For example, driving without a driving license is a crime even if it may not harm anybody. Now, what are the stages of a crime? If a person commits a crime voluntarily or after preparation, the doing of it involves four different stages. In every crime, there is first the intention to commit it, secondly, preparation to commit it, thirdly, attempt to commit it, and fourthly, the accomplishment. The stages can be explained as under intention. The first stage exists when the culprit first entertains the idea or intention to commit an offense. In this stage, the motive and plan to commit the crime is facilitated. However, at this stage, no offense is punishable because the intention is a mental concept which is very difficult to prove with certainty. Now comes the preparation. In the second stage, the culprit makes the preparation to commit the crime. Necessary resources required to commit the offense are gathered at this stage. Preparation and intention alone are not punishable under IPC, as there is a possibility that the accused can retract from the committing the offense. However, the offenses of waging war, dacoity, counterfeiting coins, and depredation on terrorists of power at peace with government are punishable at the preparation stage, as even preparation of such acts is considered as a crime against the society. Attempt. It means an act towards the commission of the offense which fails due to circumstances independent of the attempter's will. It fails owing to the external factors which are beyond the control of the attempter. A person commits the offense when he intends to commit a particular offense, he makes preparation for it and does any act towards its commission. An attempt to commit an offense begins when the preparation ends and a step towards the commission of an offense is taken. However, such a step should be indicative of the intention to commit an actual crime. There must be a proximate relation between the two. That is, if the interruption was not caused due to the external factor, crime would have been the only result. Now comes the last stage, accomplishment. This is the last stage of crime. At this stage, the offense is committed or is completed. That is, the accused succeeds his attempt and causes the injury. Finally, at this stage, the accused is held guilty for the commission of offense and is punished according to the provisions of the Indian Penal Code. If an act remains confined to the first two stages, there is in general no criminal liability. If intention and preparation were made punishable, it would be impossible to prove that the object of an accused was to commit an offense. It is the third stage that the liability arises. Whether the act is in the second stage or it has been entered into the third stage is a matter of evidence. Thank you.